Bring up a Michelangelo of metal, a wizard of welding, a tenacious Tigger, the one, the only, Ryan Gore. What's up, buddy? There's your stick, your scepter, sir. Now, Ryan has got a bike here in the JMP Cycles Ultimate Builder Custom Bike Show, and I've known Ryan for a while. We've been in the industry for a long time. You look so much younger than me. It doesn't seem like you could have been around this long, but you and I worked together out in Big Bear Choppers.
Yeah, about 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, and now you're on your own. You bounced around a little bit. I know you were up in Georgia. Now you're in Fort Collins, Colorado.
Yeah, back in Colorado where I'm from.
And what's the name of your shop?
Paper Street Customs.
Paper Street Customs. And Ryan, you are one of the builders that, very few builders build full-time. Well, you build full-time, but you don't make your full-time money doing that. What do you do other than that?
My day job, I'm a maintenance mechanic for a drilling company. I service oil rigs, natural gas drilling rigs.
Yeah, so he works hard. He's one of the leatherneck guys that gets out there and busts it hard. And then how many hours a week do you figure you do with your day job and your shop?
More than I care to admit. I work about 60 to 80 hours a week at my day job, and then as many as I can get at night and on the weekends after that. One
of these guys is just working pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, leaves a little time for a girlfriend.
Yeah, for now, she still puts up with it.
And 2 cane Corsos.
Yeah, so those my kids, my 2 dogs.
I was surprised that Ryan took on, he had this big cane Corso. If you don't know what they are, they're basically buffalo that are canine. They're huge dogs.
They're Mastiffs from Italy.
Yeah,
big Italian
they're huge.
Mastiffs.
And you got a puppy.
I do.
That was
a puppy.
Why do you get a puppy with as little time as you have?
He goes to work with me.
Oh, okay.
He spends time with me.
All right.
They both do.
I was just thinking that's a lot of energy to expend that you don't have to. That little guy's got to be crazy. So, what did you bring to the show this weekend?
I brought a 77 shovel head that I completely rebuilt the motor, the trans. Basically, the only thing I left stock on it was the rear wheel. Everything else got reworked. And
it's right down this row here at the end, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's number 450, if you guys are looking for it down there in the Ultimate Builder competition. And what got you into it's a beautiful bike, and you have such wonderful metal skills, but how did you start? Did you always know growing up that this is what you wanted to do?
No, I had no clue.
Sorry.
Just lucked into it like the rest of us. Grew up with a dad that was into bikes and just always around motorcycles and never really knew that it was a viable source of income until after college, actually. I, believe it or not, used to be a suit and tie guy sitting in an office clicking a keyboard and was miserable and was working on bikes at night, and one day just got sick of the office job and went at the bikes full time.
And the other thing that's cool to know about Ryan is, Ryan, you used to teach, didn't you?
Yeah, I was an English professor for about 3 years.
Can you imagine? Yeah, man, give it up. Can you imagine that guy coming in the room? You didn't do your homework? What?
I wasn't this pretty back then.
Oh, you weren't this pretty. All right. So, man, I tell you, that'd be intimidating, though, man. I'd do my homework, and I know you, and I know you like me. Now, you went to college.
Yes, sir.
You got a normal job, working on bikes at night, but then you went to MMI, right?
AMI, yeah.
AMI,
I'm
sorry.
American Motorcycle Institute.
Okay.
Went down there and started working on bikes at a shop in Florida back in '04.
Okay, and that education really helped you, didn't it? I mean, that...
It did. It helped a lot, and more than anything, it helps you get your foot into the door at a shop. Right. No one will hire you if you don't know anything, and you can't get experience till they hire you, so
yeah,
you show them that little piece of paper that you went to school, and they'll at least let you try. But, yeah, most of the learning comes on the job.
Well, you know, when I was growing up, because I'm older than you, I'm almost 50 now. I mean, I know that, hey, who said 6? John, you better go put on one of them fancy bell helmets you sell. But you know, when I was growing up in Eastern North Carolina, I didn't know anything about MMI, AMI, TMI. I didn't know anything about that stuff. All, you know, and so all I got was experience. But I do think that schooling takes several years off that learning curve, though.
I think it does too, and like you, I didn't know anything about schooling, and one day I was hounding a guy about giving me a job at a shop, and he wouldn't give me a job because I didn't have experience, and I just asked him, I was like, well, how am I supposed to get experience if you won't give me a job? And he's the one who told me to go to school.
Yeah, so I mean, anybody that's interested, and I see folks, men and women of all ages. Some folks do it after they retire, some folks do it, find themselves midstream in life, all of a sudden, wow, what should I do? All of a sudden going and turning around and saying, hey, I'm going to make this a viable career option for myself. I'm going to go to school. So we got a security guard right here, a Navy veteran that's going to school right now here locally, learning how to better turn wrenches, man. So he's into hot rods and motorcycles. So there's a lot of guys that do it at any different stage of their life. Now, when did you decide? I mean, you worked at a lot of Harley shops and that. When did you decide that you needed to cut out on your own and just do your own thing?
It was about 6 or 7 years ago. Just, you can work building other people's bikes for so long, and then it starts to suck the joy out of it, and once it becomes a job, it's not fun anymore. So yeah. I walked away from it for a few years and started working just regular jobs and slowly just doing it on my own, and enjoy it a whole lot more that way.
I met Ryan. I was in the front office at Big Bear Choppers. I looked around and there wasn't anybody up front like me. So then I went in the back where they were assembling the bikes, and nobody was there like me. So I went in the parts room and I looked around, and nobody there spoke English. That was my biggest problem. I couldn't talk to anyone. Marcos was running that show. It was like, wow, they don't understand what I'm saying. So I saw Ryan back there welding, and I was like, hey, man, you want to go eat some barbecue? And that was it.
That was my 4th day on the job.
4th day on the job. We got lucky being able to find each other. Now, where did you get your... I mean, at AMI, you got some mechanical skills. Where did you develop your sheet metal skills, though?
Pretty much self-taught. Just, I was fortunate enough to work in a shop in Florida that had a lot of cool tools, and they didn't mind if you wanted to just stay late and tinker. And, you know, I started doing that, and then started working with a couple older guys that were real good about teaching you things. If you were willing to learn, they'd show you. And I worked, you know, in different shops from East Coast to West Coast, and I always just tried to find people who knew more than me and hang around them and pester them to teach me.
Well, from the looks of the stuff that you're building, it's going to be hard for you to find folks that know more than what you're doing. You're doing beautiful stuff.
Thanks.
I mean, you do it all. You really do, and you do it with integrity and a quiet humility that's appreciative. Everybody loves you. You know, it's you're just a nice, humble, decent guy, and I just can't wait to see. I wish there was some way for us to break you free so you could just focus 100% of your time on being creative and building motorcycles, but
I can't have that much spare time. I don't have enough sense to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, you probably would get in trouble. I'd bring you to Iowa with me, but we'd get in a lot of trouble. We wouldn't get anything done.
Yeah.
But, man, I tell you what, you're doing a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing the other stuff that you're able to build. What's next for you? You got another show you're thinking about doing?
I don't, to be honest with you. I kind of have to find shows that fit in my day job schedule and kind of find one last minute and hit the road.
Now, last year you had a bike at Sturgis in the FXR show.
Yes, sir.
And are you planning on taking anything to Sturgis this year for anything? You just sold that FXR.
Yeah, I sold my FXR. I don't really have anything going right now other than the bike I have here, so okay. I'm not sure if we'll make it up there for that or not.
All right, well, maybe you and I'll just meet. One good thing, funny thing is, Ryan was riding his FXR in. I stay in Deadwood when I go out there. I looked up, and he's sitting there with his bike. What was it? Your stator had gone out?
My clutch cable snapped.
Your clutch cable snapped. That's what it was. And I looked up and I said, what are you doing? And he said, my bike broke down. And I was like, well, do you need help? And he said, yeah. So I said, okay. So I happened to have a truck there with a ramp.
Yeah.
Pushed it in the back. He didn't know what he was going to do.
No, I was trying to figure out how to hitchhike into town and get a clutch carrier.
Yeah, we were way far away from Sturgis. It just worked out really well. So it's always nice to have friends in the motorcycle business. If you guys ever see Ryan at a show or anything, do just walk up and talk to him. He's a nice guy, doesn't mind answering questions or helping you out with any of your projects. Where can they get you online? How are you accessible through social media?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. That's about it.
All right.
That's about all I can
How are you
handle.
listed on Facebook?
Just Ryan Gore.
Ryan Gore in Fort Collins, Colorado. So.
Yes, sir.
All right. And how are you on Facebook? Instagram?
Kid Blast 77.
Kid Blast 77. You're making it really hard. We need to use the name of your company. Need to use
a little anonymous.
Apparently so. Yeah, it's one way not to be successful, Ryan. We'll talk about that later. No, I was just kidding. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Ryan Gore. Go down and look at his bike.
Thanks for having me.
What a dream. Thank you so much, Ryan. Really appreciate you being here.